Zachary Levi, aka Shazam himself in the DCEU, speaks out against Pfizer. And of course, the woke mob, aka pharmaceutical industry simps, are not happy about it. They're coming after him. They're trying to cancel him and ruin his reputation, as they always try to do when anyone performs wrong think. Let's go ahead and dive into the video. So we have here Lyndon Wood, who Zachary Levi has quote tweeted here, saying, "Do you agree or not that Pfizer is a real danger to the world?" To which he replied, "Hardcore agree," with this serious emoji face. Now, as someone who's deeply involved in Hollywood and, especially the star of a DCEU property, this is a brave thing to do, because this could put him in a position to where he is ostracized from the industry. Granted, this is a little late. A lot of us who have been speaking out against this right when it was happening and right when they were trying to shoehorn mandates, that it would have been nice to have more backup, but better late than never. I still admire this. Now, he isn't the first Hollywood actor or even comic book leading or significant role actor to speak out against this, stuff regarding the jab and all that. We saw Letitia Wright, who just recently was the lead role in Wakanda Forever. We've seen her speak out against mandates and apparently not being jabbed, if I remember correctly, to which the mob came after her and tried to cancel her as well, but clearly it did not work. And the same thing with Evangeline Lilly, who Ant-Man and the Wasp star. She also spoke out against mandates, even going so far as to attend a protest, which is very admirable. And, these two spoke out, especially during times where it was a lot more dangerous to do so, which is highly respectable. Not that I'm not respecting Zachary Levi, just saying. Those who were in the front lines, mad props to y'all, but still, props to Zachary Levi for speaking out now as well, because, this still is, the woke mob, they're still dying on this hill, okay? We have seen so much evidence compile about how the jab has hurt people and worse, right? Now, I'm not saying that every single case of somebody having a heart attack is a result of that, but it would be foolish to say that none of that was the result of that. And what makes this particularly frustrating, especially regarding mandates that they tried to shoehorn, and some people in certain jobs, felt pressured and felt like they had to do so, which is unfortunate. The problem with putting people in a position to where they get the jab that they did not previously want, what makes that worse is that they have to suffer from potential side effects that they otherwise would have never had to worry about. When you look at the actual statistics of the coof and the damage that it caused and the people that it harmed and the people that it unalived, you pretty much had a 99, give or take, % chance of being perfectly okay if you had if you were healthy, right? If you didn't have any underlying conditions. And so what made this not make sense at all for the general population is that why would you add an extra risk on top of that when you're only saying, okay, I'm a healthy person, I'll take my chances with a 99% survival rate with a coof, versus if you're already healthy and you already got that 99% chance and you got the coof, you're adding just even more variables. You're adding even more percentage of side effects and risk. that otherwise would not be present at all. So it makes no sense for healthy people to be forced to take this unless they just want to, right? Now, this also comes after a leaked video which we saw of the dude who worked at Pfizer on a date trying to impress his date. He says he lied, but come on now. I think most of us have other opinions. Allegedly, for my own safety, I have to say this. Now, if you go down that rabbit hole, if you haven't already, I mean, the tweet on that has like 100,000 likes on it. It's gone viral. It's been insane. But even here, we have the Daily Mail published a report on the Pfizer expose by Project Veritas. It was deleted not long after it was posted. And here's a screenshot of it that says, in quotes, "Why don't we just mutate it ourselves?" Director of Research at Pfizer reveals in undercover footage, which I just alluded to earlier. Firm is exploring manipulating the COOF to make it more potent by infecting monkeys to create new jabs. Okay? So the undercover footage showed executive Jordan Tristan Walker revealing that they plan to mutate the COOF in order to create more jabs. And I believe also in that same video, he talked about the origin of the COOF and how it was man-made and mutated, etc., which, of course, if I'm remembering correctly what I heard, which I'm almost certain he did say, which we already knew this. People have already been saying this and have been called conspiracy theorists and crazy over it, right? But here we are. All right. He explains the company would mutate the virus by infecting monkeys. DailyMail.com has reached out to Pfizer for comment. Okay. And then they deleted it. And then the archive is right here that Ian Miles Chung has shared, which you can see that. And of course, the woke mob are mad. Where in this case, y'all just haven't been paying attention to Zachary Levi. He's a hardcore Trump Christian who supports Jordan Peterson, calling him a deep thinker, a transphobe who appeared on the 700 Club, a Trump Republican Christian network that hates minorities and gays for existing, blah, 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 same buzzwords, same rhetoric that the woke mob always comes after people for. And again, I am referencing this video in almost every video, but I made a video called Woke Ideology is Satanic. And if you look at this, if you want to see more of my opinions on that, go watch that video. But again, this stuff like this continues to reinforce my thoughts on that. Because look at how Christian, and how Christians believe that what the Bible says is sin, that is constantly being attacked here. This is a us versus Christians, not me in the us, but the them versus us Christians mentality. They are vehemently against Christians, and this is their religion that is the antithesis of the Christian faith, which comes straight from Satan. Even after the serpent tempted Eve, and Adam and Eve were sent out of the garden, and then the serpent was sent to Sheol. It was stated then that the seed of the serpent would be in enmity with the seed of Eve, aka non-believers and believers will be in enmity with one another. Okay? And so the result of this mob, this anti-Christian mob, these are the seed of the serpent who tempted Eve, dating back to the original sin, right? Now, this doesn't mean that, these are all in the same genealogy physically necessarily. This also refers to a spiritual thing, right? So it's that's that, which I'm not going to get super into theology on this, and let's get back to this actual video and see what he said here that was so terrible. Let's hear it.
One of the deepest thinkers that I've ever heard break down like human behavior, and I don't know, just an understanding of all that stuff, and I think good wisdom along with it is Jordan Peterson. I think.
Okay, so they're mad that he listens to Jordan Peterson or finds Jordan Peterson a deep thinker. I think unanimously anybody can acknowledge that Jordan Peterson is a deep thinker. He's actually very brilliant in a lot of what he says. Doesn't mean you have to agree with what he says, all of it or any of it for that matter. But to deny that he's a deep thinker, come on now. He absolutely is. And I personally think he makes a lot of excellent points. But let's continue.
I think he would be a person that I would trust. I think that guy has a lot of integrity. And so that would be somebody too. But I also know Jordan has his own things that people have issues with. Like, I get it. Nobody's perfect. We're not going to find.
He's kicked off Twitter right now because he said something about Ellen Page.
Yeah.
Elliot Page called her Ellen Page. Like, I think that was the number one thing.
Yeah.
The dead naming.
Yeah. And it's sad, man. Because again, like, there's a lot of fear and pain on and all the sides of all that too.
My friend Brian Simpson had a very good thing to say about that. He was like, I come to you for like heavy duty intellectual shit. He goes, not for this.
Okay, so
yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing what is so egregious about this interview so far.
Totally, yeah, this is like, Jordan, don't,
about.
You don't need to get into all that. I mean, look, it's his life, it's his Twitter, or was his Twitter anyway.
But that thing is like, that transgender thing riles people up, man. That is one of the ones that riles people up. Like, everybody's in favor of everybody doing whatever they want to do as long as it doesn't hurt anybody until it gets to gender, and then people start getting weird. They start thinking it's a mistake. They start thinking, why are you doing that? They start thinking all kinds of things.
Yep, and let's not deny that this isn't hurting people, namely women and children. Not every single transgender person, but a lot of women and children are being harmed. As a result, the entire ideology itself is harming women as a whole, in terms of not only just, the safety in restrooms or women's sports, but in terms of what it is to be a woman and the truth of that, right? And it's erasing our existence. It's erasing our own individual unique experiences that simply cannot be replicated by a male. And vice versa, a female cannot replicate the experiences of a male either. The topic is more so focused. I think we put a lot more focus on male to female transgender on these kind of topics simply because women are weaker than men, so it does put us in a more dangerous position as females versus a male with the whole female and male transgender. Doesn't really put men in physical danger or anything of that nature for the most part. So I think that's why also statistically there are far, far, far more male to female transgender people or people who say they're transgender versus the opposite, right? That's a whole other topic though, but the bottom line here is Zachary Levi has spoken out. They're saying here that he's a Christian. I don't know that much about Zachary Levi, so I don't know if he is. If he is, great, he's a brother in Christ to me then. And I love that. But hey, he's spoken out. And hey, also when I said earlier, hey, he's a little late, but better late than never. Maybe he did speak out about this previously and I just was unaware of it. So I will say that. But if this is his first time speaking out on it, yeah, it would have been nice if it was earlier. But I still admire that he is speaking out about this right now. What I find baffling about this kind of situation and what's going on right here, and especially with, Project Veritas and all this stuff that has dropped, all this information, is that in that video and everything he said, why are the mob still fighting on the hill that they are? It just shows that no amount of proof, no amount of evidence will get them off that hill. Why is that? Why? They don't care about facts. This is why they pretending like they care about the safety of others and that what they're doing and what they're standing for is all for virtue purposes. It's just simply not the case. And that shows, which demonstrated yet again, that their virtue is all a show. It's all for show, and that it's not authentic. Okay? Because true virtue would be admitting when you're wrong, and especially when that involves other people being harmed and standing up against it, right? That is what would be happening here. And this is why, and I keep stressing to people get really mad that I use my platform to speak out against sin, to speak out against the woke mob, and so on and so forth. And they're like, oh, wait, but that's not Christ-like. You're supposed to love everybody, blah, blah, blah. Well, I can still love people and call out the evil in the world as the Bible instructs us to do. People want to put Jesus in this hippie box of love and accept everyone when that is simply not not what he demonstrated when he was on earth, and it was not how he taught us to be. We were never at any point instructed to tolerate sin, ever, okay? And when it comes to tolerating sin, I believe people have the right to do whatever they want, even with sin. Nobody is forced to be a Christian because that is how God designed us, with free will. So for me to say everybody should have to be a Christian would not be very Christian of me. But that being said, that doesn't mean that we have to accept sin as a positive thing, okay? We can at the same time think people have the right to do it, but not go and accept it. And the Bible is very clear on this as well. In Proverbs 24, we should not ever be calling evil good. We should never be validating anyone in their sin. That is so wrong. That is leading sheep to the slaughter, okay? And also, there comes another point to this that just hit me like a ton of bricks the other day, is that because when people get offended by things that I say, I don't like that. I don't like it that people get offended when I make a joke about people putting fake pronouns in their bio or something. I don't like it when they get offended when I call out a lot of crap that's going on with the woke mob, or when I make videos saying that the woke mob is satanic, so on and so forth. I don't get a rise out of people being offended by that or upset by that. But that is not going to stop me from speaking out against it. Because here is the key factor. And if you're kind of, this is my opinion, but if you're kind of like on that fence of, oh, but I shouldn't be stirring up contention, I shouldn't be this, that, or the other, but to live a life where we are not calling out sin, it's not helping anybody. And to just be silent about this sort of thing, and which of course keeps the peace among everybody, and it keeps you from getting attacked and the backlash. And I'm telling you guys, I get so much hate every single day. It's absolutely maddening. Not as much on YouTube. I don't surprisingly don't get a lot on YouTube, but on Twitter, oh my gosh, every day. But the thing is here is what you're saying, okay, that is bothering some people. Is what you're saying, do you feel convicted about that because from a spiritual level or from the Holy Spirit, or are you feeling convicted in a people pleaser kind of way? Because if it's the latter, disregard that. That does not matter, because friendship with the world is enmity with God, okay? It's in the Bible. So I think it's very important that we use our platforms to speak out against sin. If you're a Christian, if you're a believer, do not validate sin. We cannot be doing that. And I've been in positions where I've done that before because, it made things easier for me. I got acceptance from people, blah, blah, blah. Thank the Lord that my eyes have been opened and that diving into my Bible daily and reading my Bible daily and not making an exception for that and taking it serious and prioritizing it has given me a lot more fire, has given me a lot more wisdom, and has given me knowledge of, hey, the right thing to do ain't always the easy thing to do, and the world is going to hate you. It is biblical. The world will hate you, but that's okay because God has overcome the world. All right. I brought some church to this video today. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.